Welcome to Inside the Upside Down. It's a hot one in the studio tonight. I'm Mike Ricksecker, author and ghost story, and with me, as always, is Shauna, our chat shenanigator from the Edge of the Rabbit Hole, and a fantastic writer in her own right. Thanks for sticking with us this evening. I know it was kind of crazy on the Edge of the Rabbit Hole this evening. I did have to screw around with some of the audio settings over there, so that means this show's probably jacked up too. That's all right. It's one of those evenings we can thank Skype for. Shauna Smith is telling us, watch out, Mike and Shauna. Most people here are drunk. Really? I thought yesterday was the holiday. So I do need to throw out there that between shows, Andrew Cox with the $20 super chat. I want to thank you very much, Andrew Cox, for that and for the rest of our super chat superstars from the previous show. So tonight we are talking spiritual attachments. It's something that people do get worried about when going on paranormal investigations, or even, if something pops up in their own home or a place that they visit. I've heard of spirit attachments happening with people just walking by a historic location, and there goes the cricket. There goes a cricket in the corner. I threw a shoe at him earlier. So we're going to have to deal with it. Crickets, yes, they happen. So, Shauna, I know you've had quite a bit of experience here with spirit attachments. So you want to go ahead and... my brain is so frazzled from earlier. Where will we start in tonight?
Oh, I think we also hit the 8,000 subscriber mark.
Oh, shit, yeah. I mentioned it was like a throwaway at the end of the last show. It's like, oh, yeah, I saw that. And because of just trying to get stuff wrapped up, and we hit 8,000 subscribers. I guess that was like right at the beginning of the show, because we were at $79.99 going into the show, Edge of the Rabbit Hole, and I guess we hit it right there at the very beginning.
Yeah, I think one of my sons used, was one of the subscribers too. So he says, "Oh, I think I already did it with this account, but I have this account, so I'll do it with that one too." It's like, yeah, just make sure you watch from both accounts too.
As long as it's a legit person, we don't have to have people going in there and creating 5,000 accounts to,
right,
get us to where we want to go. We don't condone that. Yeah, anybody who subscribes will want to be an actual viewer, because YouTube picks up on that stuff. If you got a bunch of subscribers and nobody's watching, it's like, something wrong with this account. So we don't want that.
Binge watch. That's what we do. Those
who've subscribed, please binge watch. That's awesome.
I do. Sometimes I'll put it on, fall asleep at night to it. I used to do that a lot, but that was before he came here.
Yeah, I guess you would binge watch while I wasn't here. So, Adam Tillery, if you're out there, yes, I got this massive Fiji water again. No, you're concerned last time. So, all right. So, okay, I guess Nichelle is saying, don't throw the shoe at the cricket. Okay. Then you're going to hear it throughout the show. And Tim Schoen saying, I could watch Haunted Road Media videos all day. Well, thank you very much for that. All right. So, let's go ahead and get into spiritual attachments. I think the first one you want to talk about was the... I'm still frazzled. So we're going to have a giveaway.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
So we'll do that. There's a happy birthday, and what did I miss? Somebody's happy birthday. Michelle had a happy birthday the other day, because I remember on Facebook saying happy birthday to you. So Katie Palmer saying she loves to binge watch. So yeah, we're going to have a giveaway. I guess we'll do it as usual for now. So, in any other platform except for YouTube, tell us you want to be entered into the drawing, and we'll go ahead and draw the names. So, hit us up on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, wherever except YouTube. So you can message me, Shauna, Haunted Road Media, on any of those platforms, and we'll go ahead and add you to the list. So there you go. All right. Twinkles.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody else experiences the twinkle, I call them twinkles, little light anomalies that are just everywhere now, it seems like. Ever since the one that we were seeing on the goldenrod when it was still standing, ever since then, they've been everywhere. And not just to the places that we investigate, but also like sometimes in my home. Like before I moved here, I really haven't seen any here yet. But in other places, you know, the other places I've lived, and in my yard, I mean, just everywhere. So then, you know, my question is, since they're now everywhere that I go, and doing the same behavior, always kind of, you know, lingering around and stuff like that, are they an attachment, or is one of them an attachment of some kind, or is it I'm seeing them now because I, for the first time, you know, I started seeing them. So is it because I saw them for the first time then, now they're letting me see them more often, or is there one following me?
Well, you acknowledged it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they always look exactly the same, except for a couple of times I've seen one that was like candle flame colored, like almost like a really, really super light shade of yellow, and about the size of a golf ball, you know. But then the rest of them are look like, if you look up in the sky and you see a star, they're just little twinkly little stars, you know.
Yeah, I do have an example of one. So let's see over here. So this is a shot from the Goldenrod Showboat. Give it a couple seconds. You'll see it off to the left. I am running it in a loop, so I'll let it run a couple times. Just look off to the left, and you'll see that it goes real fast. It's just little like twinkle off of the. It's kind of over the showroom, but off the balcony. So
I have yet to see it. I can never get it. I can never see it.
Come on up and introduce yourselves to us. Come on up and introduce yourselves to us.
Nope.
Come on up and
How'd you not
introduce
see
yourselves to us.
It's so quick, and it's so dull, like dim.
Come on up and introduce yourselves to us. Come on up and introduce yourselves to us.
Okay, did
Come on
anybody
up and
else see
introduce
it?
yourselves to us.
Okay. All right, so I let it run about 5 or 6 times. Sean has a hard time seeing it. It does go by really fast, and there is at the beginning something coming in from the right-hand side, other way around. Coming in from the right-hand side. It's probably a bug, but it's on the left hand, and just like real quick. So
I mean, if you blink, you'll miss it sometimes.
yeah, basically.
But sometimes they are so bright, and it's just like, wow, you know. They'll be there just like boom, and then
so they're seeing it. See Candy Orton saying illuminates itself. Lynn saw it. Diane Hilbert saw 3 twinkles. Because I let it play a number of times. So and I've seen them too. You know, not as often as Shauna. She's usually the one that points them out to me. But like
it's a green thing right there.
Oh, that's just because I have that highlighted.
Okay.
That's just.
I was like, what is it?
See, now we got red lines, so it's just.
Okay.
It's the system. And $10 super chat from Tom McNicholas. Happy for you reaching 8,000. Thank you very much, Tom. I saw Donna in there ask what the prize is. A book and a signed print. There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. A book and a signed print. Okay, so because we had. Again, of the Goldenrods, really, when we first started seeing these.
I had never seen him before.
Right. And the first time I saw it was because you were like, oh, it's back off in the corner over there. I'm like, I didn't see it. I was hearing and seeing other stuff, but not that. But then we were sitting on the stage. We had the IR camera pointed up at us. We're looking out over into the showroom, and all of a sudden, right next to the tripod, boom.
And it was bright.
It was bright.
And close.
Yeah.
So.
But now they seem to be following you around because we were at the middle of the schoolhouse in Iowa. And all of a sudden, you know, we're trying to investigate other things. We're up in the room, we're in the library where they believe that they have a vortex and they've seen, you know, things on the SLS camera crawling around and that sort of stuff. So we're investigating for that stuff to see if, you know, we're picking up on any of that activity. And it turned into a very different investigation. Because you start seeing the twinkles. I saw it once off to the side. We started hearing other things like the door and stuff like that. But, so it's seemingly following you to places.
I mean, I can think definitely at Vandalia, I've seen them, which is in Illinois. Mineral Springs, which is in Illinois. I have not seen them in Ohio.
Okay.
But I can honestly say that I did not see them like at the Swift Mansion site or at the prison, or I didn't see them there. And I don't know if it was because, well, I can't say because it was a new place, because so was the school.
Right.
But I mean, does anybody else see them? I mean, you see them, but I mean, does anybody in the chat room, see them? I mean, I'd like to say they don't make any sound.
No, it's just a bright flash of light, very quick.
Yeah, it's just like if you're looking up in the sky and you're seeing like a plane going, how it blinks, every few seconds without all the colors. It usually just looks like a little star just twinkling, and it's so quick. And then whenever it's in motion, whenever it moves, I don't see the twinkle. It's just it's like invisible, and then all of a sudden it'll show up somewhere else. Kind of like a firefly or a lightning bug in the dark. It's like that. If it's dark, you don't see it until it lights up. So it's kind of like that. Except for obviously it's not a firefly. I know what those are.
No, that certainly wasn't a firefly. And that wasn't even season for fireflies. And,
right.
We've had questions like that, like the yellow translucent ball of light that was going around the showroom. Very different from the twinkle. And I would not say any sort of attachment because that hasn't been following us around. But, people have always asked, well, was that a firefly? That sort of thing. And that was completely wrong season. We're talking in November. It was, like 28 degrees in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't happening. From Sharon Lane, is there a significance to seeing large blue orbs with the naked eye? Like not just in a photo?
I mean,
if you're seeing with the naked eye,
I've seen big red ones. I've seen big red ones, and then smaller ones also. I've seen all colors of them actually.
Yeah.
I don't know what they mean.
And I just had at the Manila Schoolhouse. Yeah, we saw the twinkles, but down in that room that we were kind of using for a little staging area, to hold our equipment and recharge stuff. I had that like it was on this side. That white orb, it was a ball of light, just kind of shoot past me as I'm walking out. I was like, what the heck was that? It totally took me by surprise. So, is that something? Well, yeah, probably, because I'm seeing it with my eye rather than a photo. And photos, you're always debating, as to, whether it's dust or moisture or what have you. And I've gotten some fantastic photos that, very, very particular. I throw so many out because it's like dust, water, that sort of thing. But I do have a couple that it's like, that has its own illumination. That one's different.
Yeah. Because I blow almost everything off until someone tells me otherwise, because everything to me is dust or water or bug or something. I always blow it off because it's in a picture. And too many things can happen with a picture, so I'm very, very, very selective about the stuff that I see in my own pictures and the stuff I see in other people's pictures. So if you've ever sent me anything and I said, that's a bug, that's a dust, that's orb, I'm sorry, even if it turns out to be something, I'm sorry, because I just don't.
But I guess what the question is with this particular show, because we've kind of talked about the activity before with the balls of light and photographs of orbs and things like that. But this particular show, we're talking spirit attachments. So the question here becomes, because you've seen this now in so many different locations, and we will get into some other different types of attachments too. But you've seen this now in so many different locations that is it something that is following you around because you've seen it outside your home? Not this home though, right? No, in the backyard. Yeah. You've seen them in the backyard.
Yeah, in the backyard.
In the backyard, not in the house though.
Right. No.
Right. So seemingly following you to some degree.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I try to communicate with it often, whenever I see it, and especially this time. I haven't listened to the audio yet. We haven't listened to the audio yet because I didn't turn on my recorder, but I should have.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting on the audio because I did, start a line of questioning with it, whoever it is, whatever it is, to see, do you know who I am? Do you know my name? Are you following me? Do you go to the places that I go whenever we do stuff like this? Trying to, see if it has a voice. I don't even know if it has a name. I don't even know if it's a human spirit or not.
Right.
I have no idea.
Well, and that's one of the questions here that Donna Gorton threw out. She says, many in the chat have seen them. Shauna, do you think they're fae or spirits or both?
I mean,
that's kind of the big question.
Yeah. I've seen the twinkles are like in a thing all their own. I will say that on the boat the one night, I had seen a pretty large shadow figure move through a doorway upstairs, and two of those little twinkles followed single file behind it, like evenly spaced apart. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, we've used that bit on the shadow person video, but that's also a twinkle, moment.
And this happened before the yellow ball of light incident.
Right. Yeah.
So,
that started maybe a few months beforehand, something like that. Yeah, because it started when that period of time where the goldenrod was opened back up. You didn't see it before then.
Mm-mm.
It was when the goldenrod opened back up, which we first got back on there that July, like the end of that July.
Right.
I don't think we were supposed to, but we did. Yeah, permission from Jake, I think is what it was.
Permission, that's all I
permission
needed.
from Jake. And then that yellow ball of light was November of that year, 2016. So started seeing the twinkles in between there at some point.
Right.
Yeah. So, and you've been seeing them ever since. Never the yellow ball of light again.
No, I haven't seen that. Like I said, the closest thing I saw was this little golf ball size. It was like the color of candle flame, which is... And then it showed up like really close to me, and then it spooked me a little bit, because I wasn't expecting to see it that close to me. And then I apologized to it. I am so sorry, please come back. I didn't mean to jump. I didn't mean to scare you. And then it did, pop up again, but several feet away from me this time. So it's like, give me a heads up, I mean, because only one time did I ever get the, the spidey sense, that something was going to happen, and then one of them showed up. But before, there was never any warning. They were just boom, there.
The spidey sense. So Karen Whitaker says, if Shauna feels comfortable with them, they may be a protective spirit or spirits surrounding her. I'm down with that.
I can deal with that.
Yeah.
It'd be nice if they'd identify themselves. I mean, so I know who to thank,
right.
that. Yeah, that would be great.
So, and there's Donna saying that. So Carrie had a question. He says, please show a question. And Carrie, I will say this is a little hard because you always post in all caps, so I don't know which one is questions and which one are statements. So if you keep the statements to just the lowercase, then we could see which one are the actual questions. So, I guess this is it. You have some question marks here. So, since I've been sick, my gift seems to be stronger. I wonder why. Probably those unconscious or subconscious defenses are lowered because you're not as healthy. And so that kind of opens you up a little bit more would be my guess.
Yeah, that's what I would say.
Yeah. So, all right, and real quick, I'll take this one from Candy Orton. What do subscribers have to do to qualify for the prize? So just put in any of our social media other than YouTube that you would like to be entered. So it could be a message or a post or a comment anywhere on like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever. In any of the pages, could be Haunted Road Media, could be me, could be Society Haunted, whatever.
And we'll write them down on a piece of paper and put them in a something, and then
We've got the hat.
put them in a hat, and then draw it out.
So, all right. So you want to talk about Byron?
Yeah.
There's a couple different things you want to talk about, but we could talk about.
Come on up and
that's the
introduce
twinkle
yourself,
again,
Stas.
but we could talk about Byron. There he is.
Yeah, that Byron only seemed to be attached to me just when I was in his general vicinity. Because I lived just a stone's throw away from where I met him, and I worked there. So he would follow me home a lot. And but he started following me more after he let me see him. So, and I was okay with that, you know. I mean, there was a lot of times I felt like I had 3 kids in the house instead of 2, which I did. But he behaved like a normal child. You know, I ran the recorder a lot in the house then because I was hoping for some type of banter, and you know, he had a sweet little voice. We have, you know, some of those EVPs posted on the YouTube channel. Not this YouTube channel, but the channel that my previous group used. And you know, I was 100% sure who he was. So, and we talked a lot, you know, we interacted a lot. I have a lot of significant experiences that happened with him. I think, you know, I don't know too much about his family, so I don't know what his mother looks like. We just have a little bit of documentation supporting that he, you know, physically died on the property, and how. And we have an EVP of that too, which you guys, you know, have heard. So on another show. So.
And since some of you are asking down there, and I should have said it when I first brought it up, and I usually do, that is an illustration by Adam Tillery. This was featured in Encounters with the Paranormal Volume 2.
And Adam that is an amazing capture, because I didn't really give a lot of detail. But if I were able to have taken a picture of Byron when I saw him, that is what he looks like. I mean, talk about, you know, chills, because it doesn't get any realer than that.
Yeah, and he will be providing more illustrations, of course, for the next Encounters with the Paranormal book. He tends to do that for us, so it's awesome. Yeah, so with the cafe, you know, it seemed to be a bit more than just, was it more than just Byron that would follow you home? Because you seem to have like a lot of attachments that would follow you, and you'd have to kind of like, no, you guys can just stay out there.
Yeah, there was one that followed home that I didn't personally see, but one of my kids did. And when I found out,
that answers your question, Judy.
Yeah. Whenever I found out who I described, and I knew exactly who it was, because I knew him when he was alive. When I was a young kid, I was probably 6, maybe, like in the lower grades of school, when it was a functioning grocery store then. And yeah, there was no way I was letting him stay in my house. And just knowing that one of my children saw him, there's no way. So yeah, I had to have a little chat. I never saw him. He probably never let me see him in my house, because he had specific rules not to ever step foot in there or to follow me. He would follow other team members. He was hardcore creeper, like to the extreme. But I guess once you're a creeper in life, if you're an ugly person in life, you're an ugly person in the afterlife. So,
we've talked about that a number of times here. The asshole in life, asshole in death. What do we have? What was it last week? A streaker in life, a streaker in death.
Yeah, I mean, Rita. One of these
or
nights,
Jokester was another one. Jokester in life, Jokester in death. Yeah.
One of these nights, Rita, who was a team member of mine, and we spent countless hours, days, weeks, months in that building. And she had him as an attachment at one point. And just some of the creepy things that he had said to her when she was in the bathroom. I mean, in the shower. If there was a way to metaphysically kick someone's ass, she should have done it, because that was just crazy. I would not want him as an attachment. And, he was in my house, but he didn't let me see him. Unfortunately, he showed himself to my kids, Is there a way to get rid of an attachment?
That's
yeah.
Sean Oldsmith's question there.
I mean, there was for me, at least with him. Byron, all I had to do was just move out of the area. He did not follow. I don't think. I mean, there must be a different set of rules, I guess, where he could follow, but only if I stayed, in the area that he was allowed to be in, because he was definitely attached to the property, not the building. And then I think sometimes they just hitch a ride, but I don't think all attachments have to follow the same rules. So it must not, because he had no reason not to follow me. I would have welcomed him to follow me. I felt so bad when I left and realized that he didn't follow. So my motivation for getting back inside the cafe, not to pick him back up and bring him home with me, but just to see if he's still there.
Yeah. Sean, to answer your other questions, since you say you're not on those other platforms, you can always email haunted@hauntedroadmedia.com. So, if you don't have email, smoke signals. I don't know after that. So a lot of people, I guess the attachments vary. I mean, you've talked about a couple of different ones here where, following people around, or you left, and so that took care of it. But some attachments stay with people for extended periods of time and follow them to different locations.
Yeah.
Some people may actually move from a house because their house is haunted. I need to get out of here, and they move to a new house, and they're still being haunted because they're the ones being haunted. They have this attachment that follows them.
Yeah, my friend Jeannie, I don't know if she's watching tonight, but she has one of those, and he goes everywhere. And for a number of years, he has followed her. And he is very protective of her, very particular, about who she spends her time with, and he will let you know if he doesn't like you being around her. So and she had to do, some research, some fact checking to try to find out, who this person is. And, she's got some info on him. So, but he has followed her just everywhere.
Yeah. We do have some questions. We'll go ahead and get to some of these. So, from Betty Lange, how about spirits that come in forms of animals or like butterflies, spirit attachments? And that happens.
Mm-hmm.
I guess here's a question. Would you call like something like a familiar a sort of attachment? Because people have the animal protective guardian spirits, familiars, what have you, that are out there.
Yeah, dragonflies land on me a lot. I had one land on me in traffic today. In the middle of a busy road, I had my hand kind of hanging out. It was nice, and I saw something flying around. I thought it was a butterfly. And then it landed on my arm, and for a split second, you always think spider, or I do, but it was dragonfly, and it landed right on my arm. I had my hand hanging out the window like this. I always try to tan this side of my arm because this side's darker than this side. And it landed. So then when I started to go, I was like, oh no, he's gonna get tossed. So I put my hand up a little bit, and he kind of rode with me for a little bit.
Nice.
But that hasn't always been a thing. It's happened, over the last few years maybe, but it hasn't just always been a thing with me. But I see dragonflies a lot, And
P3 Aerospace is saying dragonflies are said to be angels. Nice.
I probably need some of that in my life.
Yeah, I'm just thinking like Vanessa has her wolf, so yeah, it's some of these that are like that are, spirit guides, but in animal form from my understanding.
Since I've never met my humans, my male or female spirit guides, so I figure, hey, if a dragonfly is going to be that for me, then. And I will say that the ones that they always seem to look, I don't know if dragonflies just all look the same. The ones that I've come into contact with just always look exactly the same, but I've seen pictures of them that look pretty colorful and stuff like that. So maybe they all look the same. Maybe it's the same one.
Maybe.
Who knows?
Yeah, it's kind of funny because, last week we had Kyrie Chris Sutton on, and I remember when you told me about the dragonfly, I threw this out as an example. Wow, it's like that's what Chris was just talking about, where he said, well, if you have a flock of sparrows in your backyard and you see them every day, then it's probably nothing significant. But if you have a red-tailed hawk that drops in your yard, twice a week, that's kind of a little out of the ordinary, then you might have something going on. So it seems to be like you and dragonflies kind of have that.
Yeah.
And Carrie Parrish is also saying dragonfly usually signifies a benevolent spirit. So very cool. Let's send some dragonflies my way. All right. So from Spooky is from Dawn. Question for Shauna. Do you get scared? I know my last time this happened, it frightened me bad. So have you been scared by any of these attachments that have followed you?
Byron never really scared me. I didn't pick up any bad, vibes from him, and I always trust my inner voice, my sixth sense. I like to think that if it's something bad, I'm gonna instinctively just subconsciously know, and I'm gonna feel that. I never felt that from him. The twinkles. I don't really feel. I'm curious by those more than I'm, scared, because I don't know what they are, and until I know what it is, I'm really kind of on the fence about how to feel about it. I don't feel threatened, I don't feel any safer when they're around. I just don't feel anything. I'm just curious, it doesn't change for me. Dragonflies, I love those. I'm always happy when those land on me because it's a dragonfly, like dragonflies. It's still a bug, but I just, and I can't say that I have any sort of situation or emotion going on before one lands on me, and like that's my key. Like, was I feeling sad about something and that's why it showed up? Then I would say, maybe that's the key. That's how, I know when something's going to happen. But I have been in all different kinds of moods whenever they land on me. So, still a mystery. I don't know.
All right. Donna is saying the spirit guides, etc., tend to be different than, say, butterflies and dragonflies. They tend to carry messages from spirits to us. If you get quiet for a second and someone who has crossed pops in your head, it's likely who it's from. Okay, interesting. Thank you, Donna. So, and then Spooky Dawn is chiming in with something at Waverly followed me the last half hour there and really left me unsettled and agitated. And then it came home. So, what was there at Waverly came home with you? Interesting.
Don't really know if I'd want anything from there following me.
No, and that's why I always do a little bit of something going in and exiting a location to make sure that nothing does follow me. And that's a big concern with a lot of, especially places like Waverly. I know people are concerned, like Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum, some of those places like that, some of the big prisons, is something going to follow you home? And I know that there have been times where I've just put my foot down that I could feel, something's still back behind me. And, I have a few little, everybody has their own thing. I have some, a few little things that I say in my head or some prayers or whatever. Sometimes I just got to turn around and say, you're not coming. You got to stay here. So, yeah. And that tends to work for me. But everybody has their own thing.
Yeah. Before I started really getting into the whole shielding thing, I was
Grounded shield, baby.
Right.
We did that last week.
Yeah. It was just open season. I would be like, now don't follow me home. I never said that to Byron, but there would be times where I would be like, you got to stay here sometimes, because if you don't stay here, I don't have a reason to come here. but you can't live with me. I would have conversations with him. Like I would,
Right.
It's like, you can't live with me because you already have a home, so you need to go. And I always felt so bad about sending him there, and there'd be times when I would hope he would follow me if I'd have to go somewhere, and I would walk and be like, come on, let's go, and then go there and unlock it and open the door and be like, you gotta go. And then I'd feel guilty about leaving and stuff. I mean, it was just a very weird time, for me. There were times when I was sure I had lost my mind, and my dad was, I know that he started going on investigations with me to make sure I wasn't crazy.
Right.
And then he realized, he has no reason not to believe me. I've always been a pretty sound mind, and, there's stuff I didn't believe, but there was stuff I couldn't explain. So, and he was one of them there for a little while. I wanted my dad to see him so bad. Just anybody other than the usual people that saw him. Just somebody on the outside, that could be like, oh, okay. Yeah, I guess I have to believe in that now because there he is. And I did show my dad the picture of Byron. I was like, that's Byron, Dad.
What did he
That's what he
think?
looked like. He says, well, how did the person who drew it know that's what he looked like? I was like, well, I gave a description. I was like, just
Because Adam has magical powers and all-seeing
Yeah.
eyes. Come on.
I was like, Adam is gifted. So I was like, just without being there, he can really capture the essence of someone who is just not in this realm anymore.
Yeah.
And
Adam's
so,
amazing. Really, truly is.
Very, very talented.
So we're going to get those put up here soon. So once
Yeah.
we get a little bit more time to flesh out the studio here. So I saw a couple of, where are the comments back here that I want? Oh, because I saw that Dawn had commented back on the Waverly thing. I think I missed it. Oh, okay. Something that Waverly followed. No, that was the initial comments. I know she followed up on it. All right. I guess I missed it. There's Paranormal Pursuit. Good to see you guys. Oh, there it is. So Don says, I made a point of telling Waverly as a building and as spirits goodbye, and please stay there. Guess they didn't take me seriously. And I don't know if that's maybe because it was too general. Maybe it had to be specifically directed at whatever she thought may have been trying to follow her.
Yeah, it's like, whoever is following me right now cannot come home with me. You have to stay here. And you literally, visually have to just put your foot down, And will it work 100% of the time? It's always worked for me. If I tell something not to come home with me, it doesn't feel like something has come home with me. But there have been times where I've kind of on the low wanted to have something, but if I wanted, then stuff would happen. Like with Vandalia, I don't consider that an attachment because...
Well, it never actually came home with you. It just
Yeah.
kind of called out to you, right?
Yeah. I mean, is it still, it's like, it's a connection.
Right.
And, somewhat of a form of an attachment, I guess, but I don't see him. I don't see him, where I can be like, oh my God,
Yeah,
look,
it's not an attachment as in something that physically comes home with you. It's
Right.
more, it's almost like more ethereal, where, like you're saying, that connection. So some sort of energy from here out to there has established that connection where you're able to feel him. I guess you see him in your mind's eye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I figured out,
But he's not actually here.
but he's not in this realm with me. He's not, or even,
He's not in this space.
He's not in this space. I can't see him. But it's like I said, I can, but he clear as a bell whenever I finally, and it's kind of like a form of meditating because he's very persistent too. And I feel bad for tuning him out sometimes. I'm just busy, you know,
Right.
and then I don't feel comfortable having a visit while I'm sleeping, I guess. But that would be the best time. But that would be the quietest time. But there have been times when I kind of feel like a little, like a knock. It's almost like a knocking, but you don't feel it. You just hear it. And then, I'll feel, to me, the ones that I have the strong connections to, they each have their own different energy. And I don't know how to explain it. Like this one, buzzes a little harder. This one, does this. It's weird when I say it, but it's just, I can tell his from others. And, I can always tell, and I'll be like, if I talk out loud, will he hear me better? Or should I talk inside my mind? Will he hear me better then? I mean, can he hear me at all? I don't know. You will never hear me say, I am 100% sure about anything in this field, because you can't be. I don't care who you are. You just cannot be 100% sure. I'm still confused every day by stuff in this field. I feel like, I know I'm not crazy, but there's some days where I'm just like, what the hell? Why? Why is this going on? But so he's definitely, and then finally we get an EVP in that room. Whenever I see him in that room. So I know I am 100% sure about that. I know who it. I know. Well, yeah,
we got the EVP. I'm here.
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah. I mean, that gave me goosebumps, and I was so happy because I could see his lips moving.
And that video is underwatched. That was our last Vandalia full investigation video, and we got both Ghost Boys on that.
Right.
Downstairs, and then in that room, two different boys.
And his little and a name in the first one.
Yep.
Still don't know what his name is.
Yeah, the one upstairs, we don't know his name yet.
Right.
But he did respond.
Yeah, he's not documented. He's not one of the documented child deaths in that place. So he came from somewhere else. But his voice, I've been waiting for that, to hear what he sounds like. Still don't have a name, but I can still just see him and his lips moving. I'm like, I can't hear you. I mean, I don't know how to make it better so where I can hear you, but now I know what he sounds like.
Let's see, B3 Airspace says, I switched to coffee. That's right. Haunted Road Roast. This episode is brought to you by Haunted Road Roast. So, well, speaking of shout-outs, I do want to shout out Firesphere. So, just real quick, Rio Udasato does the intro music for the show, better known as Madame Butterfly from Firesphere. So be sure to check out their music.
Yeah, so if anybody out there likes Queensryche, I mean, damn, these guys, it's kind of like a darker version, like a little darker vibe of Queensryche. But
great stuff.
I mean, wow. So, yeah. And her stuff that she composes, whew.
And she will be doing more for us, which is fantastic.
Somebody else in there, if he's watching, has expressed an interest in that. So I don't know if Steve is watching or not.
Yeah, Steve, check him out.
Steve, you better be watching.
And Adam Tillery says, dig the intro. Yeah, Rio does a fantastic job with the intro. Glad you like it.
Yeah, I mean, she's just, her stuff just screams scary movie music. Or, yeah, it's awesome.
And I saw, speaking of Adam, I saw Sean Gilmore say that Adam should draw this vision that he had. It was a dream that he had that he sent me earlier today. That would be very, very interesting, Sean. But we have a question for you, or from you as well, from Sean Gilmore. After an investigation, I feel drained and at times depressed. I call it a paranormal hangover. What do you think causes that? So yeah, we call that the para-hangover.
A para-hangover. And Dove Dark Chocolate is the best thing for it.
Yep. Always
makes me feel better.
It's that type of supernatural energy that is just, I mean, it does sap your energy. There's something chemically up there that's going on with the pineal gland inside the brain, and Dove Dark Chocolate helps out with that. Well, dark chocolate in general, as long as it's real dark chocolate.
Right.
And we've mentioned it before here on the show, like the whole Harry Potter thing from the third movie where Professor Lupin is giving him chocolate when he's trying to practice with the Patronus and the Dementors and all that stuff, and he's like, it really does help. It does. The chocolate really does help. They don't ever explain it in the movie or in the book. It's like, just use chocolate. It helps. It has to do with the pineal gland in the brain for that.
If you're feeling sad, it's likely because you soaked up or tapped into some sad energy there. Not all spirits are happy, for sure. There's a lot of sad ones out there.
Karen Whitaker says dark chocolate could save the world, or it could solve world peace. Absolutely.
Yes.
That's right.
So maybe, like, I don't know how hip you are, Sean, I don't know if you carry crystals or anything, but, you can carry, like, black tourmaline. You can carry any of the black ones, really. Obsidian.
Well, after an investigation, using a selenite
Hematite.
wand.
Yeah.
Use a selenite
yeah.
wand to...
Or maybe, do a little, sage. Just, oh, sorry. Dang.
Yeah,
Okay.
Karen also says dark chocolate kicks your endorphins up and brings happy feelings. Yep, does that too.
Yeah, so try some of those things too, because whatever stones like that or crystals resonate with you the most, or that seem to help, do that, and then get some Dove dark chocolate or Hershey dark chocolate, whatever dark chocolate, but put that in your regimen too.
There you go.
Yeah.
Godiva works too.
Oh God. Yeah.
What about a dark chocolate Magnum bar?
If it has ice cream in it, I can't do it. So sad.
Not
Frozen
anymore.
yogurt,
Yeah,
though?
that's right.
I can do frozen yogurt all day long.
Carrie Parrish says maybe we should try some dark chocolate. Yeah, try some dark chocolate.
Yeah.
It's Spooky says try dark chocolate with chilies in it.
I've done that.
That's good stuff.
Yeah. I found some at Walmart.
Yeah.
And I can't remember. It starts with an L. I think the brand name.
There's
But
Ghirardelli.
It's
Linder.
Linder, yeah.
Linder.
Yeah, they have one that's dark chocolate and chili pepper, and you don't always get first one, but it's like a slow build. But man, it's a good one. That's a good one.
We're going to have to come out with Haunted Road Media chocolate bars now. We got our coffee. We got our coffee. Now we need the chocolate. So we'll have to look that up, see what does that. All right, so let's get some other questions here. From Robert White, could child spirits follow you because of, say, having games in your possession? Man, could you imagine that? Like a more modern child. And because maybe you have kids who have a bunch of Xbox games, they're hanging out at your house.
I believe that.
Yeah.
I mean, if they happen to just follow you home one time, they probably will want to stick around, When Byron used to follow me, I used to leave like paper and crayons out. We did have some drawing happen at the cafe, but we never used it as evidence, just for ourselves, because, it was not caught in real time and there was no way to prove we didn't do it. So unlike some people out there, we're not going to peddle evidence like, oh yeah, we totally did it, or we didn't do it. We didn't do that. We didn't do that, but we couldn't use it as evidence because nobody else knew that. And we're not going to go down that path. But also used to like to play with balls, and
well, I mean, a lot of
you like to be
I think a
read
lot
to?
of child spirits like to latch on to children because they have a playmate. So you hear a lot of cases of family moving into a house that has a child spirit, and the child of the house basically starts having an invisible friend, and it's this child spirit. Now, I've also heard of cases where this spirit is actually a malevolent spirit portraying themselves as a child and becomes an attachment to that child of the house.
Right.
So there is those unfortunate cases. So.
Yeah. I, unfortunately had to tell Byron, you play with me. You cannot play with my kids. You cannot play with my kids, which was unfortunate, but it's just that I didn't know how my kids were going to handle it. This was new to me. I had just started investigating, not long before that, really serious about it. And I didn't want to ask, my kids. I thought they were too young, way too young. And so just to be on the safe side, I'd be like, play with me, not my kids, so.
Right, because even if it's a innocent child, you still don't want to take that chance with your kids.
No.
So that's why, shall we say it?
Go ahead.
Don't bring kids to a haunted location during paranormal investigations. Just don't do it.
Yeah. Don't do it. It's not a good idea. They shouldn't be exposed to that. There should be an age limit. There really should be an age limit.
Yep. So, I guess Karen has said we should name the Haunted Road Media chocolate bars Darker Spirits.
Oh,
I like it. I like it. And Tom is looking for the Haunted Road Media hats. I know.
so am I.
I know. I know.
I
Yeah, we were supposed to have the beanies out last year, and that didn't happen because they couldn't. They kept refusing the file I sent them.
I did. Who was I talking to at work? Knew somebody locally that.
I don't want to do.
stuff on
I don't
hats.
want to do that because I don't want to have to buy 1,000 hats.
I don't think it's going to be like that.
It's usually the case.
This is like a personal friend. So we'll see what I said. Give me some info so I can at least check it out. So wouldn't hurt.
So, from Sean Oldsmith, how do you know if something follows you home? Well, unusual stuff
Paranormal
starts
activity.
happening. Yeah, paranormal activity starts happening in the house.
Yeah, stuff that doesn't normally happen all of a sudden is happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, how do you know? I mean, I guess how do you know it's something that followed you and not something that was already there that just decided to just.
No, because it wasn't
Speak out.
happening before.
Yeah.
But generally,
So-
yeah. But yeah, I mean, usually stuff starts happening around the house that wasn't happening before. Maybe you suddenly, feel that presence next to you all the time, or whatever. There's a lot of different things, but yeah, just generally paranormal activity starts happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. From Betty, could the studio be haunted and giving you trouble, or having fun with you both? I think most of our difficulties tonight were Skype related, so maybe Skype's haunted. Yeah, because that wasn't just me.
No.
And I mean,
And it was in other states,
Yeah.
too. So we got to blame this one on the
That
Skype
was Skype.
update.
From Emma, can something attach to an item and then get you to take it home? Well, yeah.
Yeah, there's items that have attachments, to them. The people, maybe it was of significant value to the person that passed away, and they decided to, follow it, wherever it goes. I mean, there's definitely been a lot of reports of that.
Yeah, I mean, you could rattle off a bunch of different ideas or different haunted objects that people reported over the years. I mean, a lot of them are like the dolls. You hear about like Robert the doll, or even Annabelle. I remember, an attachment to the doll, something that you want to use as a conduit, not necessarily they can't really, like, quote unquote possess an object, but they can attach themselves to it and go along with it, and then try to infiltrate you in your life and that sort of thing. So but I've even heard of some different things like a radio, which might seem silly, but a friend of mine that I used to work with years ago, her father passed away, and I guess one of his favorite things to do was to monkey around with the ham radio that he had in his basement. And after he passed away, and they're cleaning out the house and doing a lot of things, he was apparently always still on that radio, and so he followed the radio out of the house into wherever it went. So he was attached to the radio.
Yeah.
So let's see. So from Karen, do you think pregnant women should attend investigations? She does not.
I know pregnant women that have done it. Since I believe in a lot of things, I can't for 1 second disprove in any way so far that, an unborn child's essence or its soul is safe from it either. I mean, what happens, like, if you go somewhere and there is a spirit of a pregnant woman there, and she was like, oh, okay, and then I lost my baby, there's another baby. You don't know. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that happens in scary movies. That sounds like a plot for, angry spirit of a woman that lost a baby, going after an unborn child of a woman.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a plot right there. Not one that I would. Ew. That sounds terrible.
Yeah, I just think that there's too many possible repercussions that could happen with the unborn baby, and I don't necessarily mean like Rosemary's Baby is going to happen, and your child is suddenly going to become the spawn of hell or something. But just the idea that something could, and you don't know what it is or who it is, could be there from the birth of the baby on forward, or even before the birth. I mean, can they? Because, I mean, these spirits obviously can go through you. We feel cold spots all the time, like we're passing through a spirit and things like that. So, could they possibly actually get into the womb and mess around and actually be with that child since before birth?
Yeah, I mean, if they can be attracted to energy, there's still energy in there. That's a living being in there. It's just not out in the open, but the energy is still there. So, I mean, I didn't start investigating until after my kids were born. But I can honestly say that, no, if I knew then what I know now, I probably would not have. I have seen many a pregnant woman on an investigation, though. So, and, so I know what happens.
It does, but
it's up to them, their comfort level. If they feel like if they can protect themselves, like we all ground shift, if they feel like they can, shield their unborn child from that, then to each their own. I mean,
Sean Gilmore saying no pregnant women, no children. So
yeah, I'm down with the no children for sure.
Yeah.
But Katie would be a good one to ask.
Yeah.
Because she was definitely pregnant whenever she was at Mineral Springs.
She was at Mineral Springs, yeah.
So is Katie in the chat room tonight? She was there for round 1, wasn't she? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Katie, if you're in here or if you watch the replay, give us your thoughts.
That would be interesting
on that, and let us know if you've ever experienced anything. That would probably be a good topic for another show.
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah. Oops. So, Karen, thank you. Yeah.
So, I'm trying to get all these. A lot of questions suddenly just boom. Hit the chat, which is awesome. We really appreciate that. So, we're gonna get to them. Tom McNicholas, wouldn't there be a comfort know someone is attached to you to look after you? Oh, a comfort in knowing someone is attached to you to look after you.
It depends on who it is.
Yeah, it depends on who it is. I don't know what their intent is.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's times where, I mean, honestly, I just want to be alone. So if somebody's attached to me and I don't know if they're necessarily in the room or not, I just stuff on my privacy. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if like a deceased family member, or someone that I was close to that just, every once in a while pops in. That's
fine. Popping in every once in a while is fine.
Yeah.
And I've had that happen.
I mean, but I'm not uncomfortable with every spirit that I come into contact with, but sometimes it just kind of gets me, especially if they put their hands on me or I can hear them, but I can't see them. Because if I don't know who it is, then I don't know what they're going to do. And I've had some stuff happen to me now, so I know that they're capable of doing bad things. They can hurt you. So, and that doesn't mean, they're demonic or anything like that. Just an angry spirit is an angry spirit, or a poltergeist. What noisy spirit, whatever. If they're able to manipulate heavy objects and throw them at you, then how do I know that's not going to happen? From day to day. So I guess it all depends on if I know who it is. Like if all of my grandparents are deceased. So if one of them decides to visit me and stuff like that, if I know who it is, if I'm sure I know who it is, great. Do I want them there all the time? No, I don't think that's a good idea. But if they want to stop by, yeah. Sure. It's just the unknown ones, the ones that I don't know who they are. I definitely don't feel comfortable with that.
No.
I need my space.
From Betty, what do you do to your home to keep spirits outside of it? Well, I mean, usually the first time you enter a new home, apartment, what have you, usually the first recommended thing is just sage it down.
Yeah.
To get a more positive vibe in there.
Yeah, I mean, go in there and get a feel for it. first. I mean, if you can go in, if you feel
Yeah,
comfortable
like
going
here.
in.
I mean, there was just nothing.
I don't
Dead.
feel anything.
Yeah.
Like, it is a complete dead zone, literally. I mean, I don't feel anything. It's like at my parents' house. I don't ever feel anything in that place, ever. Not a blip. Even if I ask a question, I don't feel nothing. I don't feel anything. So,
Well,
but
let's
there
say,
are other things that you
but
can
let's
do,
say
though.
to answer the question, what would you do?
I mean, you can even, I don't know if you believe in spell work or anything like that. I don't know what your religious preference is, but Donna could tell you, you can do things to, ward the property with crystals, even
You can
bury
set
them
up.
on the
You
property.
can set up wards with. You can do crystals, salt.
Salt.
Yep.
But, yeah, but in addition to doing all of that, you have to be 100% secure in your ability to keep things out of your home. If you have just the slightest bit of doubt, that's their opening. So you have to be firm and be like, I don't want anything in here. It is that simple. I always say, like, grounding and shielding. It's that simple. You have to visualize that, and like with crystals, you have to be 100% sure that it's going to work for you. If you have any doubts, it's just not going to work. If I investigate somewhere and I don't take crystals with me, it's just like, I'm open. Let's see what happens when I don't have stuff. And guess what? I'm usually arming myself with crystals like minutes into the investigation, because I literally feel they've become like a part of me now. Like they go with me to work. I take them with me everywhere. So, but on investigations for sure. But I have faith in them to work for me. So you definitely have to do that.
Yep.
It's
And
worth
Donna
researching.
Gorton is agreeing. Yes, several things can be done. Absolutely, intent is everything.
Absolutely.
Yep. Yeah, you have to believe that what you're doing is going to work. If you don't have a belief that what you're doing is going to work, then basically you're just throwing stones on the ground and salt into the air, and it's not doing anything. You have to
Right.
believe it. So, B3 Aerospace now needs chocolate. All right. So, Judy Wilson, how about spirits and dolls? Have you ever met a haunted doll? Well, there's I don't know if the doll per se was haunted, but there was the doll at the Samuel Mudd House, that was thrown across the room. So that could have just been a poltergeist thrown across the room. I mean, there's Robert the haunted doll. They mentioned it earlier. They still keep Annabelle behind a locked door.
I've never personally met one or encountered one, but inside the cafe, it was a consignment store also. And there were probably 15, 20 of those China dolls, those porcelain dolls.
Oh, okay.
Oh, those things creeped me right the hell out. I hated those things. And their eyes would just follow you. I know they really didn't, but that's what it felt like. I was uncomfortable in the room with them. Like, eventually, I know Kathy's not watching this. She was the previous owner for the building, but those dolls went in a box. I mean, nobody was buying them anyway. But I just, when we were there, no dolls. I'm not a fan.
I was, I don't know how many of you are still around from, or were around about, oh my gosh, was it 4 years ago now? It was in the early days of this channel. So I did a Halloween swap with Amber Walter. So it was, October. We sent each other different items, kind of like they do swaps on like the beauty channels, but it was Halloween items. And she had sent me a couple of dolls that were supposedly haunted. I've never seen them do anything. I actually don't have them out right now. They're in a box somewhere. But I never saw them do anything. So it's like a lot of people can say that, a doll is haunted or whatever. And you can find like on eBay, all kinds of dolls that are supposedly haunted. And it's just, somebody trying to get money or what have you. So it's kind of like hit or miss, I don't believe that those dolls that I was sent were actually haunted. I haven't seen them do anything. They've been sitting there. Now they're packed away. Nothing's ever happened. So, from Ludafan G. Okay, welcome. Can a spirit affect one's health? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that can definitely happen. What would be a good example? Because you hear about, okay, like a spirit that will drain you, and there's another. We can wrap this in together. So Judy Wilson, one, an attached spirit just sucked the energy from you. So, an energy vampire would do that. And when you're lower, when your energy is lower, your immune system is compromised, and therefore you'd get sicker.
Right. Also, if you're empathic, if you're able to, like I feel emotions sometimes, but mostly I feel symptoms of how they died. Some places bring it out more than others when I go there. So if there's been times where I haven't been able to breathe just for no reason whatsoever, or I feel so sick to my stomach that I'm literally going to throw up if I don't get out of the area. And if you're around that kind of thing all the time, then yeah, it can definitely affect you. And then also, emotionally, mentally, it can sometimes make you feel like you're just not playing with full deck, So it can have it can have varying effects on the human body and on the human mind also.
Yeah, and if you want to get down the demonic path, they'll compromise your systems. They'll basically, almost like a vampiric spirit, they will just drain you. They will work on your health and make you sick, to basically lower your defenses so they can take possession.
Right.
So, but that's few and far between. But
yeah,
it's out there. But I saw in the chat there that Carrie Parrish has found a liver donor. So that's awesome, Carrie. Very happy to hear that. Congratulations. So, so let's see what else we had here. From Betty, how many here Mike stated when they were children? I did started to haunt when a child. I guess it's a little jumbled up there, Betty. I'm not quite understanding the question. How many here Mike stated when they were children? I did started to haunt when a child. I'm not quite getting Betty, if you could just reword that maybe a little bit so I could better understand the question. Oh, he's saying he's on the list. Oh, okay. Well, you're on the list, so you're a lot closer.
Yeah, that's better than nothing. There's some hope. There's a reason to have hope.
There's hope. Yeah. So, from Fungi, I wonder how many of our so-called memories may be put there by spirits while still in the womb. Well, I don't have any memories of being in the womb. Do you?
I mean,
it's that dark, warm place.
My earliest memory was like when I was like 4 or 5, I think. I mean, I don't know.
Okay,
I don't know.
Backtracking a little bit, we'll go back to Donna's helping out here. She says, Mike, she said she's had experiences since a young child. Okay, and so basically, I guess, how many started when they were children? Or yours started when you were an adult, when you first started seeing stuff, and experiencing things.
My sister had an imaginary friend. I did not.
Yeah, I did have experiences as a child. The experience I always talk about as being like my first experience was the shadow person in my room when I was about 8 or 9 years old. There's a moment earlier, an incident earlier in my life that I was probably only about 5 years old, maybe 6, something like that. And it's so vague, and I do remember it, but it's hard to really know considering the age that I was and all that as to whether or not it was paranormal. So I discard that. It's there in my mind. I know something was going on there, but I don't know if it was paranormal or not. But 8 or 9 years old was the first one. Again, when I was 13, first investigation was when I was about 15, 16 years old. So there's some experiences that I had. I won't say a ton. I didn't live in a haunted house, even though 2 of my experiences happened in houses I lived in, I would never say that the house was haunted because they're just kind of like fly-by-night sort of things.
Yeah.
So,
And I don't remember anything until 2004. And I did live in a haunted house.
yeah.
Very, very haunted. So that's how I got started.
So, Donald Gorton is saying Among Stars is leaving. So, Steve Glassford
Bye,
was here.
Steve.
Thanks for stopping in,
Thanks for
Steve.
stopping in.
Your ghosty is on the way.
Yeah. Don't forget your selfie with Ghosty.
That's right. Do your selfie with Ghosty.
And you got to send it to us. And we'll put it on Ghosty's page.
All right.
Yay.
So, all right. So, I mean, that's okay. Back to fungi then. So, memories put there by spirits while still in the womb. I mean, I don't know. Could a spirit really plant memories in you? I don't necessarily think of spirit could manipulate your brain to implant a memory. That's an interesting concept.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah. It's almost kind of like I don't see how a spirit can manipulate an ovilus or a spirit box, right?
Or a
So,
ghost app.
I mean, let me ask you this: if you were to die right now, how would you go into somebody's womb and implant a memory inside a baby's brain?
Well,
How would you
here's
do
the
that?
thing.
Come on.
But
Are you a neurosurgeon that would maybe have a
okay, but
vague idea on how to do that?
Here's one thing that I do know. Like whenever my kid, and I wasn't a spirit doing it, I was human. But whenever my kids were in the womb, I would sing certain songs to them all the time. All the time. And I think it was Colton. Whenever he was old enough to comprehend words and stuff like that, said, I remember that song. I think I heard that song somewhere. And so, I mean, as a human, and that babies can hear stuff in there at a certain point. So could they retain, or were they, and can they retain the knowledge of that kind of stuff while they're in there, but in spirit form? I mean, unless a spirit is contacting my child, without my knowledge, talking to it, I don't know. I don't know what kind of capabilities spirits have once you get in the next. I don't know. It's a good question, though.
It's an interesting question. I just don't think they can implant memories. I just don't.
I don't know.
So I'm being told that Lynn's White had some questions way back up, and I missed them. I don't know. There have been a lot of questions flying through chat. There's been a lot of chat, so it always comes down to if I missed it, I'm sorry. It was not intentional. And I'm scrolling back up and not seeing anything.
So, Lynn, go ahead and put it out there again.
Yeah,
maybe.
put it out there again. And I will say, if you made it a long question, there's kind of a limit that, and I've gone all the way back up and haven't seen it. I've seen that happen to others in the chat before that, like, were posting, like, a lengthy story, and I never saw it because YouTube would cut it off at, like, a certain number of characters or whatever, and it would get lost to the ether. So if it was longer, maybe it just didn't show up in there on my end. So, yeah, I've scrolled all the way up and I don't see anything. So, I mean, I saw a comment or two in there from her, but not a question.
I mean, earlier YouTube was just completely eating the stuff that I was posting.
Yeah, and Shauna was losing her stuff.
And that's happened to me like 2 or 3 times now.
Yeah,
so
it happens.
I don't know. It could be that.
Yep. So, all right. So, from Judy Wilson, wouldn't an attached spirit just suck the... Oh, we already did that one. That was... Okay. I lumped that in with the other one up there. From Sharon, do you know anyone who has used tar water on their property? I don't even know what tar water is.
I have never heard of that, but I will now have something new to research.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
I
I've
know
never
that
heard of it.
I have some charcoal, some activated charcoal, in my box. I put it in my box, but you can use charcoal for stuff like that. I don't know. That's a new one on me. I've never heard of that. Donna, have you heard of using tar water for anything like that? I have honestly never heard of it.
Okay, so this Tim Schoen. I had an instance the other day with an unknown but strong scent of perfume. Believe it to be my mother's spirit. Could this be her as an attachment? Could loved ones attach like that? And then there's a little arrow, and then it says Donna. So I don't know if he's posting that for Donna or if that's from him. I'll just answer the question. So not necessarily an attachment, could just be a visit. So I know when my uncle comes to pay a visit because I smell his aftershave. I'm not the only one that's happened to either. One of my aunts has also on occasion smelled his aftershave, which is very distinct. It's like, I don't own it. She certainly doesn't own it. And it's just like, oh, hey, Uncle Paul, how's it going? Like there was always at my apartment in Ohio when I was living out there, you would kind of hang out in the dining room area. So I don't know if they just wanted to sit down and like chat at the dining room table or what have you. But there was a couple times like I'd be in the living room or I'd be in the kitchen and just like boom, and it's like, oh, Paul's here. So not necessarily an attachment though. I think it was just visiting.
Yeah. None of my family members that have passed on have visited me, so it's always people I don't know that I really develop a connection with, but that I didn't have one before that. I can think of several people that I would love to have visits from, but it just doesn't happen for me.
So this was like way up. Yeah, I would have missed this a long time ago, and the chat is long since past that. So Lynn's White, we got you. Misfits of Science, right? Could the lights be orbs or sprites or something? And do you use sage to cleanse? Yeah, they could.
Yeah, I have white sage like a spray, but then I have regular white sage, to burn with too. A lot of times it's just quicker and easier just to, give it a quick spritz. So yeah, sage I definitely have that in my arsenal for sure. As for what those light, I assume you're probably talking about like
the twinkles. Yeah, what we were talking about earlier. That's what I was saying. That's from way back.
Yeah.
I mean,
I wish I knew.
Yeah, and that's something that we put out there a while ago when that started happening, especially with that translucent yellow ball of light, which is different, to try to get some other personal accounts of fairies, sprites, brown, any of that type of stuff, because we were thinking, okay, is it a water sprites? Obviously, the twinkles right now, since they're following you,
right,
would not be something like a water sprite, a land sprite. I don't. And here's the thing. We as humans try to classify everything, and so if you go and you pick up a book right now on fairies, most of what you're going to find is like all the mythology and legends and everything that have been passed down to time, and they'll break it down. Here's your all your different types of fae entities. But my question has been to that, okay, who sat down with these fairy folk or fae folk or whatever and asked them, okay, can you classify your social structure for us so that we can put it in this book? That never happened. So it's basically all these, legends, folklore that people have extrapolated into these books, which is fine. I have no problems with that. I think it's nice to have a collection of all the legends and everything in one place that you can easily access. But it doesn't answer our questions as to what in the hell did we see. Mm-hmm. And so we're looking for more, personal accounts of, yes, I also saw, these twinkles or this illuminated yellow ball of light, and this is what it did here. So we're looking for actual accounts from people of what they've seen with their eyes and not just the legends. I don't want to, have somebody say, well, it was a brownie or a red cap, or I don't want to hear about how mermaids are supposedly classified somehow under fairies and stuff like that. I don't want to hear that. I want to hear other people's personal accounts so that we can try to determine what the heck it is we actually saw. Because it may not be a fairy at all.
Right.
So, we don't know. We're trying to figure it out. Hopefully over time we will. So, Karen, did you see my post about the red mist? No, I'm sorry. There's a lot of... That's great. You guys have been asking a lot of questions. You've had a lot of conversations. Awesome. And we apologize if we don't see everything. because we have like this little tiny box. It's like
Where
this
did
big.
you
It would have been up there somewhere.
Where did you
I don't
see
know.
the red mist? Was it at Cheney or somewhere else?
Let's see what else we have here. We're gonna have to wrap it up here pretty soon, guys. It is past midnight in the east, past 11 here, but we know people are bowing out because it's getting late. So,
Mike would do this all night probably.
I
yeah.
would.
I would do it for a little. I would do it for a while longer.
Okay, and then another one from Lynn's. Do you or have you ever used black salt?
I have
Yeah.
black salt.
Go ahead.
I have black salt, and I have a little bag of. I have the pink. I have some pink Himalayan salt now. I have some sea salt, and then I have some black. Yeah, I have some black and salt and charcoal in my.
I'm just trying to remember when it was used. I mean, it wasn't my own personal black salt. It was somebody that was with me. It was with us at some investigation years ago. I can't remember. I'm sorry. I wish I could better answer that. The memory escapes me, but yeah, I mean, it has been there on an investigation with me before. Just it wasn't mine. So.
Right.
Okay, so Donna's saying tar water. Yes, it's made from stones and often used in voodoo. It's hardcore. Okay, well, that explains why I don't know much about it, because I don't know a whole lot about
I don't know
voodoo.
anything about it.
And Ladino6 is saying Amy Allen's used tar water on her show, giving it to people who have had paranormal troubles. Okay. I haven't seen a lot of the Dead Files. I caught a few episodes early on. I like the concept of the show. I was familiar with Amy on Facebook before the show ever came out, and I always thought she was a nice person then and all that. Steve is supposed to be a great guy. So the show's cool. I just haven't watched a lot of it, so didn't know she was doing that. I don't watch a lot of the shows anymore.
Nope.
What else? I don't know. I saw another one in here. So, and there's Diane Hilbert bowing out, saying good night. Good
Good
night.
night, Diane.
Ludafan G, this is a tough question. What do you think happens to unborn children from like miscarriages? That's tough. Because I do believe in reincarnation. I think they just go back to that source, wherever it is that we come from, and they try again.
Yeah, I think if they didn't get a chance, that they deserve to have one.
Yeah.
I hope that's. I want that. I want it to be true. I hope that's true.
Yeah. Or there's this idea. If you guys have ever seen Defending Your Life, and I've mentioned it here a couple times here in recent months. So it's Judgment City or whatever, and so it's a concept that you pass away and then you have your life evaluated. You either go forward or you go back to Earth. So their concept was like children should never have to be judged for their stuff. So so they just pass them straight on. But there's that whole idea. I mean, there's so many different theories here in play. So is the passing on just to that place in between lives? Or is there even some higher other plane past that where, after you're done going through whatever the heck it is we're supposed to be learning here, is there another plane after that? And would they just pass through that? Or is it just like, oh, well, that didn't work out,
I mean,
and we'll try again here.
Child spirits just shouldn't even be a thing. I've always, I love children, so I love I love to be around their energy, but at the same time, it's always so sad for me because I always feel so bad. Like Byron, for example, he died in the late 1800s. Why is he still around? I mean, what, it's not like, he has some important lesson, to
Yeah.
learn. Well, the lesson learned is don't climb a tree. You know, if it's not safe. I mean, but he's a kid though. You know, so why is he still around? I mean, I don't get it. You know, at what point, you know, time moves differently, you know, I guess, but you know, at what point does he get to, whether he moves into, you know, another, like reincarnates into something else? And then if he reincarnates into something else, and this time in my lifetime, will he recognize me? You know, I always wonder about that too. I've, you know, had children recognize me before, so I mean, I don't know. I don't
That's that
understand why he's
girl
still around.
at Meehan's, yeah.
Talk about knock me off my groove for the rest of my shift. That was totally random, unexpected. I definitely didn't feel that one coming. But you know, when I saw her again, you know, she always had that look like, yeah, I know you. And it was
Right.
always just the sweetest thing ever, and I just wanted to take her and just ask her all kinds of questions. And it was so terrible that I didn't want to ask her those kinds of questions, but I just wanted to pick her brain so bad, you know. But yeah, I don't get it. I don't think there should ever be a thing. I don't think child spirits should ever be a thing. You know, I think that they should just, you know, I mean, who allows that? I just don't understand.
I was trying to find Karen's post about the red mist, but I guess it's too far up. So, maybe this is it. So I see this comment about hovering over my body, floated down my hallway, and freaked out my dog. Is that the red mist? I don't know. What precedes it doesn't jive with it. So I don't know. Maybe that was it.
Maybe YouTube ate some of it.
Yeah, YouTube may have eaten some of it.
I've not seen a lot of mists in my time. Shadows and people and ghosts of freaking animals and vehicles and well, actually, we did see a white mist at Mineral Springs in that room before the pool.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen mists. I mean, there's a big black mist that I saw at that house in Edmond that, you know, for the haunted show that we filmed. So, I mean, as a red, I don't think I've seen red. White, yes. Black, yes.
Yeah, what is the color significance for mists?
Yeah, that's interesting.
That's
so a red mist, and it was hovering over the bed. I mean, was it something trying to form? I don't know. So I don't have an answer for a red mist, but
It's interesting.
I guess my question would be, you know, what did you feel at the time? You know, what was the type of energy that you were feeling off of that red mist? You know, what kind of vibration were you getting off of it? So, yeah, okay, Karen. The red mist was hovering over my body. It totally freaked out my dog, who was growling. So if the dog's growling out at it, you know, that's not a good sign.
Yeah, dogs. They really, you know, I lived with one that would totally freak me out. Would totally stare at this one spot in the wall, and then would go get its ball and sit it down, and then look up. And I'm like, what are you looking at above my head? You know, I mean, I don't do that anymore. It's freaking me out. Animals they're definitely good tools to have
Yep.
on a paranormal investigation.
Oh,
We've had
absolutely.
some creepy stuff happen in the cafe with cats. Oof. Oh my gosh. Gonna have the cafe show soon. Rita's gonna come on here, and you guys are just gonna be, it's gonna blow you away, the stuff that we're gonna talk about. I mean, you talk about experiences now. Her and I really should write a book.
Really should.
Like,
really
for
should.
real. And Rita's an excellent writer, too.
There you go.
She's a
Why
really
hasn't
good
she
one.
submitted to
I don't
Encounters
know.
then?
I don't know. I've told her about it. I'm gonna make her do it.
There you go. All right. Karen is also saying the energy was negative, and I followed it down the hall. I wasn't afraid, but the mist was negative. Okay, so
I mean,
not exactly sure what it was, but
yeah, trust your vibes.
yeah.
You know, we have them. Trust them.
So from Wendy earlier about the miscarriages. Maybe they're just interested in the womb experience or for giving an experience for the family. I don't know.
That's like a whole other path right there.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So, and Karen also says, cannot wait for the cafe show.
Oh, I can't wait to be a part of it.
That'll be interesting.
I mean, yeah, that may be part 2 may need to happen into Inside the Upside Down, because I really should write a book about it. Just that one building, I could write, like, you know, it was crazy, that place. Oh my gosh.
So Emma is saying, my dogs stare into our bedroom all the time. And then Donna is saying, my dog doesn't freak when I'm in contact with spirits, which leads me to believe I go to them or to an in-between place. Interesting. Yeah. And Sean Gilmore says, I got a photo of an unexplainable mist. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah,
Cool.
I screwed up in taking the mist photo in Edmond. I used a flash. That was a mistake. It was basically the flash obliterated the entire room with light, and so therefore I wasn't able to see the mist. I mean, if you can imagine, I'm seeing this mist, big black dark mist. It's dissipating. I take a photo, lights up the entire room. It basically, you know, I guess goes away, for lack of a better term. Doesn't show up in the picture, but then after, you know, the flash, the mist is continuing to dissipate.
Oh.
It's like, damn.
So maybe start
okay.
taking video.
Well, and that's I learned along the way. I just stopped using flash. I just stopped using flash because of stuff like that. It's didn't make sense that, you know, okay, I'm seeing this with my eyes in this. It's a darkened state, yeah, and maybe there's something about where they need it to be dark to be able to be seen, and yet I'm lighting up the entire room with light, and totally. That flash of light creates a new environment. It's not the same environment as I just witnessed this thing in. So I stopped using flash. And Candy's bowing out. B3 Aerospace bowed out.
Bye, guys.
So, but we're still at 45. It's awesome. So you
It's
guys
nice.
that have hung in here for an hour and a half after a totally crapped out edge of the rabbit hole with all the technical issues.
Yeah, there's people that, you know, that I talked to that have said, you know, that
And there goes Carrie.
yeah, chat rooms are not always a popular place to be on some of these shows. Like, you might have a handful of people, but you guys are rock stars.
Yeah, you guys are. We love our Mad Hatters. You guys are amazing. So, but let's go ahead and wrap it up. It's been an hour and a half show, so we've gone a full half an hour past our time. So we'll go ahead and do that. So yeah, the Haglin West Coast is representing.
Yeah.
Yeah, West Coast and Australia. And Sean Gilmore saying he loves the chat rooms. Yeah. All right. So and we were kind of sweating our butts off in here anyway.
It's hot in here, people. It doesn't feel like, I mean, I know fall's around the corner, but it sure doesn't feel like it.
No, it was in the 90s today.
Yeah, it was hot.
So, all right. So let's get to Super Chat Superstar. Tom McNicholas, $10. Happy for reaching 8,000 subscribers. That's right.
Yeah.
So, again, get your entries in, you know, whether it's through email, haunted@hauntedroadmedia.com. That's for Sean Oldsmith and anybody else. But reach out on any other social media platform except for YouTube to get your entry in, and we'll make sure you're there, and we'll draw the name from the hat. So it's going to be a book and a signed autograph or print, autographed print. Yeah. So you got that, and then it doesn't show up here, but just before the show, because I had to reset everything, Andrew Cox had a $20 super chat. So awesome. Thanks, guys. Thank you very much. So let's get to it. Donna Gordon, thanks for Cheshire Cat chatting the chat. Really do appreciate it. And there's Ladino6 late joining, but that's okay. That's very cool. Really do appreciate you being here.
You can watch the replay.
Yeah, you can always watch the replay. So there's the Haglin representing the West Coast. Fungi. Yes, one entry per person. Chuck Banks did not have every entry at 7,000. There's Betty Lange. Hey, Mike, please do one on how weather affects spirits. That would be an interesting show. We have done one before on moon phases. on how moon phases
can-
affect spirit activity.
That would be a good show too,
That would be-
because weather
yeah.
does affect it.
It does. You know,
does.
there are some very interesting theories. I remember talking about this with Lee Ehrlich like years ago, like when I first met him back in, was it 2010, 2011, whatever it was, 7 or 8 years ago. And some ideas about how like tornadoes could actually have the power to take that energy, you know, pick it up and move it someplace. So you may actually have a tornado moving spirits from one location to another because it has that type of power. So it's an interesting concept.
Yeah.
All right. So there's Tim Schoen. Thank you very much, Tim. Chipper Terry, thank you very much for joining us again. And Nichelle Thompson, thank you for joining us tonight for both shows. Greg Renkin. Can I have an entry for each of my personalities? Nice. Nice. That's great.
They all have different names, for sure.
Yeah. Ludafan G, great show. I'll always love watching. Well, thank you very much for watching. Tom McNicholas is saying good night. Appreciate that. So deep down the rabbit hole, Patreon patrons, check us out, patreon.com/Haunted Road Media. So it's Tom McNicholas, B3 Airspace. I'm getting tired. Okay. Tom McNicholas, B3 Airspace, Zippy Davis, BD Flint, Pamela Queen, and Andrew Cox. Thank you all very, very much. Of course, we have many other Patreon patrons as well, but those are deep down the rabbit hole Patreon patrons. We just posted a... I need your questions. For those that are Patreon patrons, what was it, $10 level and up. For the Q&A, we need the questions in. And for 3 and up, we just posted a behind-the-scenes video. So check that out on the Patreon page. There's Wendy Whittington. Thank you for joining us again tonight. Kathy Ciliento, thank you very much. And there's Lynn's White. Binge watch Misfits of Science. You know you want to. Sharon Lane, thanks for joining us again tonight. And there's Candy Orton. Thank you very much, Candy. There's Sean Oldsmith. You have a great night. Isn't it daytime in Australia?
I think they're 6 hours or something.
Oh,
like
they're
that,
a lot further than that ahead of us. They're on a whole other day.
6 hours. What am I thinking of? Oh, the UK. It's
Yeah,
6
yeah.
hours.
There's 6 hours.
Yeah.
Right, the other way.
Yeah.
Karen Whitaker saying tornadoes as mobile vortexes. Yeah. Seriously. Tracy Christian, thanks for joining us again. Who else do we have in here? There are a lot of you in here tonight hanging out all night long with us. And Sean was right. I would hang out all night if my voice could hold up. Carrie Parrish, glad you've had some good news. Hope that works out for you very, very soon. Sean Gilmore, awesome. Thanks for joining us again. He had some interesting stuff at the Monroe House here just recently. I'll have to tell you about. I haven't had a chance to talk to you about that yet.
He needs to come to Mineral Springs.
He does. Emma Bejic,
Yes.
thank you very much for joining us tonight. Yeah, everybody should come with us to Mineral Springs. And there's, I think I already said Betty Lange. Did I already say Betty Lange? I think so. Oh, hey, there's Dustin Samario. Hey, Dustin. Good to see you. And, all right. So I'm going to scroll back down. If there's any last minute ones, get them in now or forever hold your peace. Adam Tillery.
Adam Tillery
is always lurking out there. He just likes it when we start talking about him and he's not actually in the chat. He's like, they're talking about me. They don't know I'm here, but they're talking about me. But he's such a great guy. You know, what can you say about Adam? He's just awesome. Fantastic illustrator. Yeah. And let's see. And Michelle's thanking us for the birthday wishes. Yes, happy birthday. And Donna's saying we're at 8,005. Woohoo! Sweet. And then there's Tom Nash. Hey, thanks, Tom. Appreciate it. And I think that's probably going to be about
Tom
it.
Nash. Is that a new one?
I've seen him in there before.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
I don't pay attention on round 2.
Yeah. It goes by fast. I know you see that it goes by fast. Yeah. Yeah, Sean Oldsmith, 24 hours ahead. So, yeah. Yeah, Ladine 06, Mineral Springs in Alton, Illinois. Right on Broadway Street.
Yes.
So,
Best place ever.
so very, very cool.
There-
You have to come down. It's raining Zen.
Yeah.
Is in there?
It's rating Zen. And anything in the New Age world. It's like a whole world in there. Anything you could possibly think of, they've got it.
Yeah,
And
it's a mall these days, but it used to be a hotel. So it's got a grand ballroom. It's got we investigate like the old pool area, the upstairs area that used to be hotel rooms. Just all kinds of great places in there to investigate. All the way down to the original mineral spring.
it's bigger than it looks.
Oh yeah, it's huge.
I mean, it's just
absolutely
massive.
huge. So
Awesome.
all right, so I think that's going to be it. So okay. Carrie's buzzing me on the phone. Carrie, you're distracting me. You're going to bed. All right. So that's it, everybody. Have a great night. We'll catch you next week. We have Rob Guttrell's coming back next week. Yay. So we didn't finish up our conversation last time about Ghosts of England. Plus, you and him had some experiences at Mineral Springs that just like totally meshed and coincided with each other. And so Rob and Shauna are co-authoring a story for the Encounters book that's coming up.
When I go back inside the house, you're my witness.
You're doing it this time?
I'm gonna do it.
She's gonna do it.
I'm gonna do it.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Have a great night. We will see you. Friday night Ghost Frights. You guys will like this one. Since The Nun is coming out, I don't know how many of you guys like the movies from the Conjuring universe, even though they don't follow the true stories or anything like that. But we are going to tell on Friday Night Ghost Frights the true story of Valak.
The true story.
That's right.
Of Valak.
All right. So that's it. You guys have a great night. I've said that about 3 or 4 times now. We'll see you next time.